Welcome on into the Hump Day edition here of Winning Bets. I'm, of course, Jason Mattis. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and kicking off another morning with me here where we get to talk our sports and talk our sports betting as well. We've got a loaded show today. We're already going to dive on into the NFL Week 4 action. We have, of course, got a monster MLB slate today. And it all starts off this afternoon with plenty of soccer action. You got EFL Cup, Serie A, La Liga. All the leagues are in action today. We'll, of course, break them down and talk about them as well. But as we do every single day, we like to, of course, see what happened yesterday. Remember the highs and remember the lows from the previous day. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do that. Or we'll go ahead and throw up yesterday's recap. We will get to go ahead and ring that cash register after a 2-2 day and plus 0.74 units. Love to see that right there. Kicking off a day with ringing that cash register. And it all started off, obviously, with Munster versus Bayern. First half, over 2.5 goals, plus 186 winner. You absolutely love to see that. Boy, was that game a wild ride of emotions. We, of course, watched that entire match, or at least the first half, speaking on TikTok Live. And thank you guys so much for, hanging out on TikTok Live. It's just so much fun, hanging out with you guys, win or lose the bet. It's just fun time, hanging out with your friends and enjoying the action. And as I said, that game had the high and lows. You get an early goal from Bayern in the 11th minute, so you're feeling pretty good, right? You got half an hour to go. You just need 2 goals, and then it starts to be a little bit of a long time, and you're not getting the goals in there, so then the sweat comes, and these moments were captured by Thomas. I don't believe I've ever seen Thomas hang out with us here on YouTube, but damn near every time we're hanging out on TikTok, Thomas is there, and he captured the emotions of this. So you get the sweat, whether you watch the moment like this, or you're looking down, you just can't watch, or maybe you're scratching the back of your head, like whatever you're doing, it's all sweaty at that point, right? 20th minute, still 1-0, 30th minute, 1-0, 35th minute, 1-0. Okay, so now we're getting a little anxiety here, right? You finally get a goal, though, in the 40th minute, so now it's 2-0. And if you're watching, you actually know there's going to be a good little bit of stoppage time because Gnabry, he went down with an injury in that match. And also, at some point, maybe 20th, 25th minute, fans threw like 100 or so tennis balls onto the pitch, and it took some time for the ball boys to go ahead and clear off the pitch. So you knew you were going to get 4-ish, maybe even 5 minutes, and that's exactly what we got. We got the 5 minutes, so we're sitting there 10 minutes to go, and we just need a goal. And Bayern, like they always do, kind of like what they do with Man City, right? You love putting in bets on Bayern and Man City because you feel okay. Like you can live with the result because they're just going to create so many chances. And Bayern was doing that aplenty. They were creating the chances, but now we enter injury time. We still haven't gotten that third goal. 1 minute in, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in. We don't get it. And then in the last minute of injury time, the ball goes out for a corner. You're looking at the clock, and you know this is going to be absolutely the last kick. Likely going to be a corner. Munster is going to go ahead and head it clear, and the referee is going to blow for the halftime whistle. Well, Thomas captured the absolute moment of the ball hitting the back of the net. Bayern takes the corner short. It's Kimmich over to Coman. Coman back to Kimmich. Kimmich whips the ball in, and the substitute that came in for Gnabry gets the end of the boot on it, flicks it past the keeper. It finds the back of the net, and you dramatically cash plus 186 on literally the last touch of the first half. So much the last touch of the first half that the referee blew the whistle, and I was like, wait, are we counting the goal, right? We're counting the goal, and then you're blowing the whistle, right? I mean, just an absolute fantastic moment. We all celebrated on TikTok Live. I mean, going crazy. I'm slamming this chair up and down. I mean, just one of those moments that you'll just kind of always remember for a good while. You always talk about like remembering the bad beats more than the good wins. That was absolutely electric. It felt great being there with you guys. So thank you guys so much. What a moment, cashing plus 186 on the last kick. Always believe whenever it's Bayern and it's City, never give up when they deliver right there. So love to see that one right there. We also hit that Manchester United money line in under 4.5. Looked at lineups when they came out, reached out to Matt and was like, Matt, I'm willing to pull the trigger on Man U and under 4.5. You want to come along for the ride? Matt said, I actually love that bet too. Let's do a little collab on it. So we both were on that one. Good cash right there. We were tripped up in that Barcelona game though. Of course, we had their over team total and Mallorca under. I'll tell you right now, the game ended 2-2. If you haven't seen how Mallorca got their second goal, just don't go look it up. Just don't go look it up. It is the worst awful goaltending you've not ever seen, because there's been some blunders, but that was awful. That was an absolutely gross goalkeeping. So really, really tough beat right there. Barcelona should have won that game 2-1. So it goes sometimes. Sometimes that's not the way it goes. And then our only MLB play due to the Marlins-Mets game getting rained out. Dodgers didn't do shit in game 1. All their production came in game 2. Yeah, unfortunately, we were on Dodgers in game 1, so we lose that. But still a fantastic day, going 2-2 and plus 0.74 units. Love to see that right there. Didn't make any arbitrage money yesterday, but that's all right because we made real money yesterday, and that's what we're here for to do, is putting real money up in your pocket. Let's head on into that comment section, see how you enjoyed your Tuesday, and then we'll talk all the plethora of action that we've got going on today. Loaded day here on the show. Morning, DeGent. Morning, my man. How are you doing this morning, my man? Morning, Bill. Morning, Bill. We're going to go ahead and talk NFL Week 4 like I promised, and I've got a bet to share in Commanders, Eagles, and I bet you will absolutely like that one. I think you're going to like it, Bill. I think you will like it. Time to be dancing. Yeah, get your dancing on. I love to see that. I did a bad thing yesterday. Started chasing that Barcelona bet yesterday. That is always a bad thing. Nothing good comes out of chasing bets. We know that. And even Fish knows that. But it happens. We all do it. It happens. It happens, man. I mean, literally, we all do it. It's all right. You're going to bounce back today, though, Fish. I can feel it. You're going to bounce back today. Morning, my man. Morning. Morning, Ross. Morning. Top of the morning to you, my man. Top of the morning to you. Guys, we were actually really good yesterday in soccer. Just dialed in. It's one of my favorite sports, obviously. Remember, we hit that Sevilla lean we talked about, over 2.5. Ipswich and Wolves, we talked about over 2.5. That hit. We also hit Burnley money line and under 4.5. The only lean we gave out yesterday that didn't hit was Luton Town. But as you saw me on Twitter, I wanted no part of that match, right? Luton Town put out their B squad. Well, hell, we've seen enough of their A squad in the Premier League, and that lineup is absolutely dog shit. There's no way I would actually bet that. So, so I dialed in on soccer, and I didn't even bet Luton that lean. I did do the Sevilla and the Ipswich and the Burnley, but no way I would touch Luton. Boy, oh man, they can't get it done with the A squad. No way I would back that B squad. So, all right, guys, what a fantastic day. I'm loving it today. Got high vibes today, high energy, and looking forward to breaking down today's slate with you guys. Let's go ahead and just keep it right there with the soccer conversation. I think that's most appropriate right there. The games start early and fresh. What do we've got so far? We've got to go ahead and do one play. You've got Napoli at home against Udinese. Udinese's in 17th right now in Serie A. Napoli, obviously this game's at home. They should certainly handle business. No real injury concerns with Napoli's attacking lineup, so they should certainly win the money line. They should certainly get a couple goals, so that'll get you to over 1.5. And then Inter and Sassuolo. That is just, go look up at the head-to-head. It's always an entertaining fixture. Go look up at also goals this season, Sassuolo and Inter. Inter's matches are averaging 3 goals per game, and Sassuolo's games are averaging 4.4 goals per match. So everything lines up from like a season stats. You love the head-to-head in this fixture between Inter and Sassuolo. So we'll go ahead and make that parlay, and we'll get that one there at minus 125. Now let's go ahead and run through the other games in which we need to see lineups, right? If you're going to bet this EFL Cup games, you have to see lineups. And just look at Manchester City. If you were able to listen to Guardiola's press conference yesterday, he talked about, Kyle Walker not playing at all. He talked about Ruben Diaz not playing. Obviously, Rodri's not going to play because he picked up the red card. He mentioned other players that are just fatigued because everybody on that team is a national player. And Guardiola said, our guys are just exhausted, and he's going to do heavy squad rotation. They obviously have a fantastic squad, and I would back some of their B squad players, but we need to see what their lineup is because they're going up against Newcastle. And Newcastle's obviously a Champions League team, so they're no slouch. So we got to see lineups in there. You get some other Prem versus Prem today in the EFL Cup. You get Aston Villa taking on Everton. We've already seen this fixture unfold this season where Villa was able to thrash Everton pretty easily. But again, let's wait and see lineups in this one. You also get Bournemouth taking on Stoke. You get the Stoke team that is damn near at the bottom in the championship. They sit 22 out of 24 teams in the championship. Do we really want to back Bournemouth? Bournemouth has to have an A lineup. I'm not betting on Bournemouth's B squad, even though they are at home against a team in the championship. Bournemouth doesn't really create with their A squad, so kind of like Luton yesterday, right? You see the lineup, it's like, I'm not betting on the slappies. Let's wait and see what Bournemouth wants to do at home against Stoke. What about Brentford and Arsenal? got to give yourself a little bit of pause right there. No Declan Rice, no Saka. Both of those guys picked up injuries in the North London derby, so it's not a slam dunk that Arsenal's going to cruise through this. Arteta, just like Guardiola, no big surprise. I think Arteta, he seems to be like a little mini-me of Guardiola, but he also mentions rotation. Guys are fatigued. Guys are starting to pick up injuries. Let's see what Arsenal wants to do here on the road at Brentford, but another Prem on Prem. Another Prem on Prem is Chelsea taking on Brighton at Stamford Bridge. Obviously, we want to back Brighton in this fixture. Chelsea continues to be an absolute mess. Even with games at Stamford Bridge, they're an absolute mess. Let's see what Brighton does, though. Let's see what Brighton does, what kind of attacking lineup they put out. Is Ferguson going to be back? Is Matomo going to play? We need to know what these guys are going to go ahead and do, what's involved. So pause on that one. Fulham at home against Norwich. Norwich is really bad. They're 8th in the championship. But Fulham's also looked really piss poor this season, so they need to put out a strong lineup. Lincoln at home against West Ham. Well, Lincoln is all the way down in League One, so West Ham doesn't need to have a fantastic lineup. They can rotate and they can throw out a Fornals, who's not really a starter. Bowen is really the starter on the right wing. Let's see what they do with Antonio. Let's see what they do with Paquetá. Guys, you've got to look at lineups. We'll be interested. And then the last one is Liverpool taking on Leicester. I really wouldn't be concerned about Leicester. This is a Leicester team that got relegated after last season, as we know, and they damn near sold off all their good players because they can't afford wages. You just don't make enough money playing in the championship compared to the Prem. So they sold off a lot of their good players in the summer transfer window. Liverpool should handle this game pretty easily. It's at Anfield. But again, let's get lineups. All these games I mentioned are at 1:45 p.m. Central Time. You know just as well as I do, lineups drop 1 hour between. So here's your heads up. Get on Twitter, follow me, and we'll drop bets, call it 1 p.m. Central Time. Bets will just start to flow out for these games. So there you go. As for right now, though, we'll only lock in Napoli money line and over 1.5. Parlay that with the Inter and Sassuolo match over 1.5. All right, let's go ahead and jump in the comment section in case you guys have any questions about this soccer slate. Just like we talked our way into liking Sevilla over 2.5. Let's see if we can't talk ourselves into maybe liking some other bets, maybe that you guys bring up this morning. So here we go. Eagles in the first half, Ryan. What are you peeking at my notes, dog? You peeking at my notes? I like it, Ryan. Let's hold that conversation for half a second. Let's finish getting through soccer. But I like where your head's at, Ryan. I like where your head's at. Morning, Tim. Top of the morning to you, my man. Top of the morning. You must be 34 going, so I can figure out how TikTok saved my life. Woof. That's crazy, bro. That was crazy, man. Oh, you can't figure out TikTok to save your life. I read that wrong. I don't know, man. No, come on, man. I don't know, Dejit. Come on, man. That's a great app. I'm telling you, man. You get lost in that app for hours. Fantastic videos. Did you see Osman was mocked by his club, snubbed by his teammates today, too? Says he might try and sue Napoli. No, I did not see that. What are you talking about? Let's see. See if they got anything. Yeah, I see it. No, I didn't. I'm seeing that now. I mean, you're exactly right. No, I didn't see it. Great. That to me doesn't mean, and somebody asked yesterday on TikTok Live, like, is Bayern going to be motivated? Yeah, they're obviously going to be motivated. Hell, they're trying on the last kick of the ball. They're so damn motivated. I'm still going to like him. So I didn't know that, but yeah, I didn't know that. I would obviously like to see him in the starting 11 a lot. Yeah. Okay. Not the greatest of all news, but I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's go ahead now and throw up some baseball bets. A nice little MLB slate. We got Reds and Guardians, F5 under 4.5, minus 125. Jamison Tyon under 16.5 outs, minus 109. And the Padres, F5 team total, over 2.5 at plus 120. Already gave out all three of those bets there on Twitter. So that's why I'm not telling you which book it is, but let's go ahead and justify these suckers. Who's got the number one batting average? Who's got the number one slugging? Who's got the number one OPS? And who's got the number one weighted runs created versus left-handed pitching? You guessed it, because we bet it. It must be those San Diego Padres hitting 398. We got a lot of plate appearances at 112, so this is not a fake number. Their OPS is 1131, and their weighted runs created is 207. If I'm recalling correctly, I think the best weighted runs created we talked about this summer on Payoff Pitch was the Braves at 218. Over 200 is like astronomically good. The Padres are absolutely smoking left-handed. They saw Manaea last month, weren't too successful off of him, but their numbers were nowhere near like this. They are absolutely destroying left-handers right now. So an automatic, no bet, live with the result. Expect us to get a great plus 120 cash. If we want to go ahead and look at that Reds-Guardians matchup there for a second, you get the left-hander on the mound there in Andrew Abbott. So that means he's going up against the Guardians. And the Guardians, with well over 100 plate appearances, are struggling right now versus left-handers. They're only hitting 170. Their slugging is 277 with an OPS of 512 and a weighted runs created of 39. Just atrocious. The only thing the Guardians are doing well versus left-handers, and they do it also versus right-handers, and you guys already know, is they avoid the strikeout. Otherwise, they're just really bad right now versus left-handers. And then if you want to look at what the Reds are doing right now versus right-handers, they're also struggling. 218, weighted runs created 106, only slugging 440, and they get Shane Bieber on the mound. So two really good pitchers on the mound, two offenses that are struggling versus those respective handiness. I'll gladly take the F5 under 4.5 runs. And then that last bet was Jameson Taillon right there, the Cubs. Oh, man, can we just talk about that loss for a second of the Cubs? Man, I'm pulling for the Cubs. You guys know that. Not a Cubs fan, but we always root for our hometown teams. Up a run in the 8th inning, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, and Suzuki just drops a fly ball, a routine fly ball, and he just dropped it. Obviously, was hurting a little bit for that guy because you saw it. He was actually crying on the field. He took off his cap to try and hide the tears. Brutal play. They likely win the game. I mean, that gets them out of the 8th inning. They got a 1-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th. Brutal stuff right there. Well, the Atlanta Braves are, to no surprise, they crush every handedness, and they're the second best team right now versus right-handers, hitting 286, OPS of 892, slugging 531, weighted runs created of 137. You look at Justin Steele last night, cruising through that game, not even getting touched. And then what happened in the 6th inning and the 5th inning? Started to get hit, mainly the 6th inning. That's when he gave up the 3 runs. He stayed under 16.5 outs as he only lasted 16 outs. The Cubs aren't going to make that same mistake again with Jameson Taillon. Not that it was a huge mistake to leave Steele out there because he was absolutely cruising. But the Braves are just one of those teams, like the Braves, the Astros, the Dodgers. It's hard to go through those lineups 3 times. Cubs saw what happened last night with Steele cruising. Taillon's going to be, if he's cruising, he's going to get the quick hook in the 6th inning just like Steele did. And again, Steele stayed under this. Expect Jameson Taillon against a great hitting team right now versus right-handers in the Braves. He's also going to go ahead and stay under 16.5 outs. Let me pull up my phone. Let's run through these other baseball games. But I love the slate today. Obviously, I loved it a lot. Got 3 bets. We've kind of been laying off baseball lately, but just great numbers today, great bets. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Let's talk about them first. You get the Diamondbacks and the White Sox with an over-under of 9.5. Diamondbacks minus 184. White Sox plus 154. Of course, it's Diamondbacks, and I would go Diamondbacks on the run line. You saw it yesterday, and yeah, on TikTok, our play, we were definitely picking on Urena, but we talk about that bullpen and just how bad it is. Once Urena exited, the runs didn't stop. They ended up putting up 15 total runs. Of course, going right back to the Diamondbacks. How can you not? So I actually saw the Diamondbacks getting out of the hotel and getting loaded up on the bus today. I actually yelled a little bit at them, tried to get them fired up. They're staying at the Ritz a couple blocks over from me, so it was kind of cool to see the Diamondbacks this morning. But yeah, Diamondbacks today. Although, to be fair, it's raining pretty damn good. I can't imagine that game. To be fair, I can't even imagine that game gets played. Rays and Red Sox over-under of 7.5. Rays minus 125. Red Sox plus 105. This matchup just comes down to starting pitching. Both offenses right now versus right-handers are hovering around league average, and they're both really tight across the board in all the stats. If you want to say the Rays are better, they are a tick better, but it's only slightly marginal. But because offenses are like around that league average and not doing all that great, I'm going to trust 2 of these just really stinking good pitchers. And I'm going to go and take the under 7.5 in this game and try and avoid trying to predict the winner. So go ahead and give me under 7.5 between the Rays and the Red Sox. Reds and Guardians over-under of 7.5. Reds plus 110. Guardians minus 130. Obviously, I like the under. I'm on the F5 under, so you certainly project that then to a full game under. I guess I would go Guardians minus 130. But I'd also kind of want to hold on to that Reds plus 110. The bullpens, we're not talking about a big advantage, but to be fair, the Guardians do have a bullpen advantage. Tough one. I'd probably just stick to the under and not try and predict the winner in that game. Nationals and Orioles. This is one when I saw the matchup last night. I was like, oh, shit, definitely going to be on the Orioles tomorrow. Like, they're going against Patrick Corbin. We know the Orioles all season long have been one of the better teams versus left-handers. Not so much right now. But to be fair, they've only had 25 plate appearances in the last 10 days for his left-handers. So while the numbers are below the Mendoza line, there's no power. Weighted runs created below 50. Are you going to kind of lean on season numbers here, which they've been one of the better teams versus left-handers? All right, if you're going to bet this game, you're obviously going to go ahead and back the Orioles. I'd probably stay away from trying to predict them like on a run line because there's still no Bautista. They only won the game 1-0 yesterday, so they rolled out their better bullpen arms. If they're going to hit left-handers, they're going to destroy Corbin. We know the Nationals' bullpen is bad. I'd probably avoid really money line, run line, and just go team total here. I have personally bet the F5 team total, but I'm not going to tell you guys to do it in terms of like an official play, just because the Orioles. But it is only 25 plate appearances. But I'd back the Orioles in some team total capacity for sure today. Pirates and Phillies over under of 8. Pirates plus 110. Phillies minus 130. Phillies going to get to the ballpark. A little hungover today. Drinking too much champagne and beer last night. Celebrating clinching their spot in the wild card. I'll take the Pirates today at plus 110. Royals and Tigers with an over under of 7.5. Plus 164 for the Royals. Tigers minus 198. I mean, for sure, I'm taking the Tigers. Screwball's on the mound against Bolin. Bolin's got some atrocious numbers. Fastball sits low 90s. For sure, taking the Tigers. Maybe a good money line parlay. But you also saw yesterday, we talked about that Royals bullpen. And you saw the Tigers have to come back in that game and get the win 6-3. Perhaps take the Tigers on the run line today. You get the bullpen advantage. You really don't get a starting pitching or you don't get a hitting advantage, that's for sure. But I think you definitely get a starting pitching advantage. So we always know in baseball what wins. Usually pitching wins. I'll take the Tigers on the run line. Yankees and Blue Jays. How about Michael King? We talked about him yesterday. Didn't know how he would fare seeing the same opponent 5 days in a row. Whew, another good outing there out of Michael King. Gausman also did really well in a 2-0 win for the Yankees. I'd go right back to the same thing. Struggling offenses. Give me the under 7. Give me the under 7. I guess I would take the Yankees on the money line with Garrett Cole on the mound. He's definitely better than Barrios, but I feel a little bit more confident taking the under in that game as well. Cubs and Braves over under of 9.5. Cubs plus 136. Braves minus 162. Darius Vines on the mound. He's that September call up there. Not going to overpower you. Remember, he made his first start. I believe it was in Colorado, if I'm recalling correctly. It sits low 90s. Tyon, we're obviously fading him today. Guess I'm going to go Braves. I'm not go back to the over, actually. I could actually go back to the over. Cubs should be able to get to Vines, and I obviously think the Braves will get the time. So give me over 9.5 at plus money. Athletics and Twins, 7.5 for a total. Athletics plus 225, Twins minus 278. Said yesterday to take the under. Was grossly wrong in there as there was 14 runs. But Pablo Lopez is on the mound. So you would expect the Athletics to continue struggling like they have been, which is why we liked the under yesterday. Twins on the run line is fine by me. Cardinals and Brewers, no advantage in this matchup. Like literally no advantage. Kind of like we talked about yesterday. I don't know. Just pass. Jesus Christ. Just pass. Dodgers and Rockies over under of 12.5. Dodgers minus 205. Rockies plus 170. Damn it, Dodgers. You had to save it all for game 2 yesterday. You can do fuck all in game 1. Come on, man. Come on. You had a good lineup in game 1 too. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the Rockies, their strikeout percentage right now is like 30 point something. I almost took this dude's over on his Ks. What's the number? Yeah, 30.6. They're striking out a ton. The Rockies can't hit right-handers. Weighted runs created of 76. Yeah, of course you're back in the Dodgers. Dodgers on the run line. Sure, I'm fine with that. Rangers and Athletics. I do like the Rangers in this spot. They hit right-handers significantly better than the Angels do. They've got the better bullpen. So I'll go Rangers on the money line at minus 148. Astros Mariners. Here's the first time in this matchup. Remember in game 1 you had the ace on the mound in Verlander. Last night you had the ace on the mound in Kirby. You've seen each team win with their respective aces. This one you don't have either team throwing their ace, obviously. I like over 8 in this matchup. Really not trying to predict the winner in this. It's been a fantastic series. Means a ton. I'm going to go and take over 8. Padres, Giants. Giants have one of the worst batting averages right now versus right-handed pitching. So I will like the Padres at minus 108. I can't figure out why it's at minus 108, to be quite honest. You get massive, massive hitting advantages in this game with the Giants' struggles and the Padres just crushing left-handers. So Padres minus 108 is the play in that game. Let's see if you guys got any baseball questions. Then we'll circle through some NFL Week 4. Damn, still holding on to a little bit of cough here from my oldest. All right, Bill, that's a bet. I'll remember that Saturday when I'm making my parlay. And somebody else told me yesterday, was it Washington minus 14? Yeah, it was Washington minus 14. Jacksonville State touchdown and Syracuse getting a touchdown. All right, Bill, I like it. I like it. I know what else you're going to sit here and like, Bill. And Ryan, my man, said Eagles first half. We've played that, obviously. Who we play it against? Played it against the Vikings, right? And we got that good cash there on Thursday Night Football. Going right back to it, Ryan. I know against the Vikings, we did the spread in the first half. I think we did minus 3.5. Yeah, we did minus 3.5. I'm just going to do the team total here in the first half. You've got a Commanders team. This is just a piss-poor matchup for the Commanders. They rank 27th in yards per carry allowed. They allow 4.8 yards per carry. Obviously, the Eagles are one of the better running teams. You saw what they did Monday night against the Buccaneers, which was a good rush defense. They ran the ball all up and down their throat. Commanders can't stop the run, so love that right there. The Eagles cashed over 13.5 points in the first half in both games last season versus the Commanders. The Eagles were number one last year in first half points at 18.5. You guys remember that? That was part of the justification for the Vikings pick. This year, they're averaging 14 points in the first half. And just what did Sam Howell do last week against the Bills? 9 sacks, 5 interceptions. It pains me a touch to say this, and it may change when Von Miller comes back, but the Eagles' defensive line is better than the Bills. That defensive line is good. I can admit it. Bills have a damn good defensive line, obviously. But Howell's going to absolutely struggle again. This game's at Philadelphia, where we know the Eagles' numbers even get a couple bump up in production when they play at home. So, yeah, just a really bad matchup for the Commanders, simply put. I'd avoid any, maybe full-game team total, because look what happened on Monday night, right? Eagles get the ball with, 9.5 minutes, and they could have gotten more points, but you saw they were content with just running the ball and running the clock. Teams are going to be all on the gas in the first half, just like Bayern yesterday, right? 3 goals in the first half and only 1 in the second half. They're going to be all on it in the first half. Great matchup, great opportunity to continue pounding the running game here. I'll take their first half team total. We also cashed the Bills' first half team total against the Raiders not too long ago. A lot of the same justification. The only thing I'll really add to it is the Bills played the Dolphins 3 times last season. This bet cashed in all 3 games last season against the Dolphins. This one's going to be high scoring. 2 really good offenses that really couldn't stop each other at all last season in all 3 of those matchups. Bills are going to get over 13.5. The rest of the justification is damn near the same thing as what we talked about in the Raiders, so we'll skip that. Browns on the money line. How about the number 1 defense, and how about the number 1 rush defense in the NFL? If you can turn Lamar Jackson into a passing quarterback, nah, he ain't got it. How long he been in the league, and I ain't never seen this guy, scare me in the fourth quarter if they're behind and got to throw it. He does not scare me at all, and he's going to have to throw it. Number 1 defense. They lead the league in rushing yards per carry. They lead the league in overall defense, just an elite defense. The Browns are at home. Expect them to handle business and just win the game. They probably do cover the minus 2.5, but I'll just take them on the money line over on Bet Rivers at minus 141. And then the Saints are taking on the 49ers. I'm fine if it's going to go ahead and be Jameis Winston. He was kind of put in a rough spot, right? Backup quarterbacks don't really get a lot of prep throughout the week. If it's going to be his number, he'll be more prepared this time. And then just go look at the defensive numbers between the Saints and the Buccaneers. The Saints do it all better. Saints will be at home in this game. I think they'll win the game. I need a little bit of a juice reducer because that bet was minus 162 over on FanDuel. 49ers are minus 950. I am not justifying a minus 950. So there we go. That's how we're going to roll in the NFL as of now. Of course, we'll always look to go ahead and add more NFL bets throughout the week, but those are the ones that caught my eye looking last night and this morning. Lock those in this morning. Let's cash, boys. Let's get it. See what we got here. Is Wade Miley going to throw it and eat it the whole your fantasy league? Let's look at the Cardinals' numbers. Let's look. I said there was no real advantage worth betting, but let's look and see what the Cardinals are actually in terms of really digging in. Oh, yeah. That's why I laid off of it because they only had 46 plate appearances this gent. So Or how much do you trust these numbers? Worst batting average versus left-handers, 146. I think that could be a real number, kind of like the Orioles. I think that one's a fake number because the Orioles have been good all season. The Cardinals have been shit all season. So this 146 is kind of real. Their weighted runs created of 27. How about a slugging 171? Ugh, that is absolutely atrocious. That's great. They're striking out a ton at 30.4%. If there were more plate appearances, I'd back Wade Miley today. But at 46, it's probably more real than false just because the Cardinals have struggled. So good luck today. I like it. Let's just kind of look at the numbers, and I'm just kind of curious. Not that I'm actually getting on. Oh, and by the way, the Padres was the DraftKings sweat-free player, whatever it's called, sweat-free promo thingy. Let's see what Wade Miley's outs props is. If it gives it to you around 15.5, hammer the over. It's at 14.5? Oh, that's a parlay piece. He's going 5 innings. Are you kidding me? He's going 5 innings. It's at 14.5 minus 180. That's why I say a parlay piece. As long as he hasn't faced the Cardinals recently, let's see. I've got no problem taking Wade Miley as a parlay piece over 14.5 outs. Gotta be kidding me. Crafty veteran. Oh, he just faced the Cardinals 5 days ago. Oh, man. Went 6 innings, no runs, 7 Ks, that's a lot of Ks for Wade Miley. I bet his strikeout prop is 2.5, if I had to take a guess. Let's go look that up. This dude does not get strikeouts. I bet his number is like 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. That's probably because he got 7 on his last outing. Yeah, I don't like that. It's repeat, man. Yeah, I don't like that. Dominated him, though. I'd still do. I would still think he goes 5 strong, for sure. That Padres bet is now 1.5. All right, that means it's going to be juicy as hell. That means it's probably around the minus 150. So if you missed out on 2.5, I'll offer you a parlay suggestion if you missed out on 2.5. Let's see. It's minus 160, so that's about what I thought. Now it's a parlay piece. Let's just go find a pitcher that won't be the winning pitcher today, and this is what I would play. I would do Padres 1.5. Thank you, Ryan, for that catch. Or not a catch, but for pointing that out. What pitcher won't be the winner? Oh, Patrick Corbin ain't getting a win today. That one's minus 118. See if we can't find a different pitcher and get you a little bit better odds. You could dump in Noah Davis and Patrick Corbin, but now you're getting a little bit too big of a parlay for my liking. You could do Griffin Canning of the Rangers. That's plus 110. So anyway, you guys want to play it. If you want to go, if you haven't gotten that in, as Ryan says, it's 1.5. And if you want a juice reducer, I can't imagine Griffin Canning being the winning pitcher, Noah Davis of the Rockies, or Patrick Corbin of the Nationals. Even if he pitches well, the Orioles have massive bullpen advantages. And not only its advantages, but the Nationals bullpen is struggling. So I'd add on one of those 3 pitchers. So I obviously love the plus money bet way more. We can look on Barstools and see what they've got. I only know of Barstools and DraftKings that does F5 team totals. Let's see what Barstools has. Barstools likes to wait and give you those bets later. I don't know if they like to copy DraftKings or what, but those bets come out a little bit later. Or that prop, I should say, comes out usually a little later. Let's just see. First 5 innings. They've got it at minus 140, so maybe even not a parlay piece over at Barstools. They got 1.5 runs at minus 140. So, all right, but we're going to be rooting for 3 runs. I think you guys will get a nice easy cash if you do 1.5, and I think the 2 point. I mean, this is destroying left-handers way too easy. I expect the plus 120 to cash, to be quite frankly. All right, boys. There it is. Anything else? Hang here for a minute. Anybody got anything else? Pumped up for today. Don't forget, we will be adding soccer plays to it at around 1 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you're over on Twitter if you desire to lock in on some soccer bets with me. Anything else, fellas? Anything else? Man, awesome, man. He better play. Shit. Fuck. I did not see that. Not ideal, but not the end of the world. But, yeah. Clearly, I want their best player involved. But all right, fellas, I don't see any other comments roll in, so we'll just hang it up right there. Come on back for tomorrow. We've yet to go ahead and bet this Lions Packers. Packers is a dog At home? See what we bet tomorrow there for Thursday Night Football. Have yourself a day, fellas. Come on back for tomorrow. Enjoy it.